Hi, you've clicked onto today's tropical tidbit for Thursday. Still lots going on in the Atlantic. We got Danielle, we got Earl, and we got this over in the Gulf, which still looks pretty much exactly the same as yesterday. Old trough from an old frontal boundary draped across the Gulf of Mexico. A little bit of rotation here with a weak area of low pressure. No organized convection as of yet. Lots of dry air up here, but until we get this to really try to tighten up, it's not too much of a worry, and in a couple of days this will end up inland over Texas over here, bringing rain to these folks. I still don't see anything too serious coming out of this, but it should be watched anyway to see if it tries to feed back right before reaching the coast. Now looking over here at Danielle, taking up a close-up view, we see a nice eye developing this morning on the loops and trying to fill in that CDO now. It went through another organizational period last night where the CDO was really ragged and it's had a lot of dry air problems getting entrained into it over here, and you just now see it trying to get going better. If we look at the water vapor, we can see that there's an upper low backing away to its southwest, and this is what is allowing the outflow to expand to its northwest, and you can start to see the storm becoming better organized. Convection is still rather weak, and this dry air is getting entrained. And I explained how the high pressure over here, basically the Bermuda high sitting over here, causing confluence, a bunch of dry air in this area, and this is what has been entraining into the system throughout a lot of its life over the last few days and keeping it in check. But you can see the eye becoming better defined now, convective structure becoming more circular, so I think that before it gets to 30 north over here, Bermuda's latitude, that by the time it gets in here, this could be a pretty powerful hurricane, probably pushing Cat 3. I think Cat 3 at a peak is a good bet right now, and right now it's a Category 2, and this could become a major hurricane before curving out, and it will curve out. It's getting pulled northwest by this weakness. This is lifting out. This ridge will temporarily keep it on a northwest course, but then this is a big trough you can see coming to the east over here, and this will take it on its final turnout over here. And right now it looks like the models have all shifted to a tight consensus east of Bermuda, and they should still keep an eye on this, but it looks like they may get spared a direct hit and be on the weaker side of the storm, so this is definitely good news for them. And looking over here at Africa, I wanted to show you the train, and I can't even get this to go far enough east. This is Danielle, Earl. Looks like this is set to try to become Fiona over here. Nice spin coming off of Africa, and you could even argue for 4 and 5 back here. And if we scroll even farther east, there are even more waves developing over the Ethiopian highlands. So it's like shades of 1995 here. Massive train coming off over here, and the first front runners of these are trying to recurve. Earl may end up trying to recurve behind Fiona, and behind Danielle over here, and this is all well and good. Big train over here. We got the burst like we promised was going to occur, but there's also something else I'd like to watch to see if there might be some sneaky mischief trying to brew up in the southwest Atlantic basin between the end of the month and September 5th, southwest of all these hurricanes recurving. This is the NOAA Physical Science Division experimental 2-week ensemble forecast. This is looking at day 3, 500 millibar anomaly and ensemble mean, and we notice that Fiona is out here probably recurving. This looks like it's probably Earl recurving out behind it over here. You can see the big ridge developing over the northeastern US and southeast Canada. Now, so we see all these hurricanes recurving out, right, and we start to wonder, well, with this big ridge building in over here, couldn't a piece of this troughiness split off and back down into this area and retrograde into the southwest Atlantic basin as all these hurricanes are going out? Well, if we go out in time here, this is day 4 by the way, we go out to day 5 and we see the hurricane go out, and look at these two things over here showing up on the ensemble mean beneath this big ridge over here. And if we go out to further to day 7, we see this large area below normal heights taking shape across the Gulf of Mexico, Bahamas, Northwest Caribbean, south of this developing ridge over here. And if we want to see what's going on at the surface, we take a look at the precipitation on the ensemble mean, and look at this bullseye, very heavy precipitation occurring over the Gulf of Mexico on the ensemble mean. And this is pretty interesting to see. It's sort of like a trough split situation, but you got these hurricanes all recurving out here, big ridge developing over the top, you get pieces splitting away, and this is an interesting situation over here. It has very low pressures, area of low pressure developing on the ensemble mean in here as well. And this is something interesting to see. Now, what I did is I threw on here a couple of examples of years where hurricanes recurved out here, and you got development to the southwest of them over the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico or Southwest Atlantic. And these are from our analog years. 1998's Hurricane Danielle over here, ironically, considering we've got our Danielle also recurving. As this was recurving right here, while this was recurving out this time west of Bermuda, we had Earl develop in the southwest Gulf of Mexico and hit Florida as a hurricane. In 2005, we had both Hurricanes Maria and Nate at very close proximity to each other, recurving east of Bermuda over here, and while that was going on, we had Ophelia develop east of Florida over here and turn up and nail the Carolinas with hurricane force winds. So it's not like this hasn't happened before. If you get hurricanes recurving out here, you get a high building to the north, you can get mischief to the southwest of the train that's coming out this way. The Canadian ensembles are also interesting. This is day 8 on the Canadian ensembles. You can see the large area of sub 1008 millibar pressures extending from the northwestern Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, and this cluster of red numbers here represent ensemble members seeing an area of low pressure developing in the central Gulf of Mexico in a week or so, and you can see a pretty good decent cluster of members showing this. Also interesting to note is that by this time the Canadian operational model has Fiona, or what looks to be Fiona, coming in here towards Cuba at this time, but we'll see how that turns out. And you can see the precipitation at day 8 congregated over here near Florida, Cuba, and the central Gulf of Mexico. So you can see the model sort of hinting at this, not showing an individual storm, but you can see the pattern that some of the ensemble members are seeing. And finally, I want to show you the European over here. This is the initialization of 5,000 foot winds from 0Z last night. This is Danielle over here. This is Earl. What I want to look at, though, are the trade winds running through the Caribbean. Why has the Caribbean been so dead lately? Well, part of the reason is the trade winds coming through here right now, and what we've got is the hurricanes are coming off to the north, destroying the trade winds in here. So there's not much wind over here. Suddenly you get to the Caribbean and things start speeding up a whole lot. And if you get the wind to suddenly speed up in here, you get surface divergence in here, which induces sinking air, and you end up with pretty much no clouds, not much activity going on in this area at all. Where the convergence is the trade winds come all the way through, and then they converge in here where the convergence is, and that's why we have all these clouds and that homegrown area that we're watching in the Gulf right now. So this is the typical dead zone in the Caribbean where the trade winds are too strong and you get nothing in here. But if we look at the European, day 7, we go out to day 7, look what happens. The trade winds slow down greatly in here. And what we start getting is we got Earl starting to recurve over here, nailing Bermuda. We got Fiona possibly coming up behind it. We got the winds slow down in here, so you start to allow air to pile up in this area, and we start to build up the heat in the southwest Atlantic basin. And you can see where possible development could come out of this region if we build up enough heat. You can see the European. Check out this low-level jet coming into the North Gulf Coast over here. See this little notch of low pressure that it's trying to see up here at 5,000 feet, and you got the big high to the north, like I was showing you on the ensembles. And this is the kind of situation that can lead to some mischief brewing. When you get all these hurricanes recurving up to the east, you can look southwest of them to see if there's some trough splitting coming on, and you got the trade wind slowing down, air piles up, you get convergence, building up of heat. The ensemble is showing precipitation increasing in this area and pressures lowering. The European shows sub 1010 millibar pressures all the way north of Florida, all through this area in here. So this is something that we should be watching to see if some sort of mischief can occur southwest of all these hurricanes, and the train comes and continues to go out, and see if something can try to brew in here between the end of this month and the 5th of September is when I would watch this area. Just hints right now, but the pattern is there for something to try to light up in this area, so we'll keep an eye on that. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.